Andrew, so if you were with us at 11, we gave you a little tease about the #1 thing if you're selling or trying to sell your home that you need to do. So we've got our favorite home staging expert, Jonathan Miller, here to tell us what we need to know, what that #1 tip is. And Jonathan, I feel like we need like a drum roll.
Just a little drum roll there.
Okay, I tried. All right, so what is that #1 thing?
Well, that #1 thing, I almost want to stretch it out for Andrew there, but you know, I'm gonna hold back on that. The #1 thing is paint.
There you
and
go.
It is because it gives you 3 wins in one. You get new, you get clean, and you get updated all at the same time.
Okay.
So you're neutralizing that palette, you're giving someone clean, because when you think about it, you know, like for instance in the photo here, this gave us a fresh, clean look on this house.
Yeah.
You know, it was remodeled, it made it brand new for whatever the buyer is coming in to see. It makes dark spaces light, like you see in the photo right now.
Yep. Oh, wow. Gosh, these pictures, you could just sit there and just go in a trance looking at all these pictures. Now, you know, it's interesting to see. It almost gives people, like you said, clean, but now I can do whatever I want with the house, right? Like I see that wall, that red or orangish color, and I'm like, you know, I may not like that house, but it's as simple as just a paint. Really makes a whole difference.
It does, and whenever you're touring a house, if it looks like work, then you don't really want to do it. Nobody wants to think, oh, I've got to paint it. But you go in and you actually make sure that it's actually fresh from the beginning. You see Disney, they're painting constantly if you've ever been there. It's like they want everything to be fresh and new and for you to have a new experience every single time. It's the same, you know, and it's like when you go get your nails done. You get that fresh coat of polish on there and you just feel fabulous when you leave.
Always.
You know, and then 2 weeks later you get that scratch and you're like, oh, I have to get it done again.
Yes, yes. So now, Jonathan, how do we decide which paint, right? How do we know what paint to choose, whether the color or the type of paint?
So it really depends on your project.
Okay.
And your price point if you're selling. But most of the time it's the project and the color you like. So there are different companies out there, they've got different varying shades and they depend upon the pigment. I'm not gonna bore you with all the details about pigment and lighting and all that. Local representatives in the stores can help you with that. But it's definitely, you want that richer shade. You don't want to go with a Benjamin Moore color and then have it mixed up at Lowe's or Home Depot, because the pigment is not going to be the same quality. So then you're going to have a different color when you put it on the wall. The same thing is true of neutrals, of whites, grays, light tans, beiges. If you pick one that you just fall in love with, or you're testing it in your house and the lighting is perfect for it, you want to go with that same manufacturer, because otherwise you're going to get a difference in the pigment and it's not going to look as great on the walls as your sample first did.
Wow, who knew? So we're sitting here looking at some of these pictures. You can definitely see the difference. So we talked a little bit, but tell us some of the major do's and don'ts when it comes to this.
Well, you know, you want to do it as early as possible, and you touched on something a minute ago with it being, you know, your backdrop in a sense. If you've got beautiful artwork, one of the things that used to be was like paint a heavy accent wall color. That's going to highlight the artwork, but then your artwork kind of fades into it. It looks small and it drowns. When you have those neutral colors on the walls, you're able to actually put out a beautiful piece of artwork and highlight it. If you like to change things out like I do seasonally, you can have certain artwork up during summer, certain artwork up during fall and Christmas, and you know, and you also have that backdrop. I mean, have you ever went to someone's house and they've got a bright red wall and then their Christmas tree is against it and it looks like just a little bit of a hot mess? You know, Christmas we can all be delightfully tacky. But at the same time, it's like you want your best foot forward all the time, and you really want to show off if you've invested in a piece of artwork. So keeping it neutral and keeping it clean, and always paint the trim. There's so many of our historic houses in Richmond that have this tan trim, and it's like, it really makes your ceiling look smaller and lower, and it doesn't look clean. It looks like somebody needs to get up there and dust. So you always want to paint the trim on every house. No one wants to think about painting or cleaning. And then if you have a basement room like this one, we had the ceiling painted black. So it gave it more of an industrial feel down there. You didn't really feel like you were in a basement anymore at all.
Yeah, man, I feel like we never have enough time for you, Jonathan. Tell them where they can go to get more information. You're very active on social media. You got a website. Let's plug it in. What is it?
You can go to J-squaredrva.com on all platforms. Like you said, I'm always active. I'm always on there. If you have questions, feel free to DM me. I'm more than happy to help you in any way that I can anytime.
Yes, and this is not the last of him. We will have him back on 12 About Town today. You can bet on it. We'll be right back with more 12 About Town today. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you.